Hey, what is going on guys? My name is Decyl and I'm here to show you a tutorial on how to make a nice little clan intro. Now here's what we're going to be making. Okay, so that's really simple to do. First things first is you want to go into Photoshop and get your .ai file. Okay, file, new, composition, name it whatever you want. I'm going to call mine logo. And then file again, and then place embedded your logo file. Here's mine. I'm just going to stretch it up to see it a little better. Press enter and you're done. Okay. Now if you go into paths and you hit this little icon here and click new path and OK. Make sure your path's selected. Go down to your pen tool and mask out all the pieces. Make sure you mask out all the individual pieces of your logo. Now I'm going to do this one really roughly and quickly for the sake of the tutorial. Okay, there we go. Now that was really incredibly rough, but as I'm saying, for the sake of the tutorial it's fine. And then if you highlight your shape, go to File, Export, and then Paths to Illustrator, hit OK. Choose your save destination. I'm going to put this as left. And then save it. And then click on it again, use your pen tool, and then mask out your other pieces, like this one here. Now I'm only going to mask out this piece and the other piece mainly because there are two side pieces, but instead of maybe getting it inaccurate and looking a little wonky on both sides because the mask's a little different, what I'll do is I'll keep the one I've masked, I'll go into Cinema 4D and I'll duplicate the file. So that's simple to do. So this one's going to hold main, save it, and that's us done. I don't need to save that. So if we go into Cinema 4D now, and then we can file, merge in both of our .ai files. 5 centimeters is fine. Do the exact same for the left. Okay, so let me find these pieces now. Here we go. So, as I said, if you need to do the same thing I did and you masked it one because you're a little bit lazy like me, hold Control, click, and drag down, and it duplicates it. I'm going to name this one right, and I'm going to go up here to my rotate tool and just spin it 180 degrees. Like so. And then the move tool, and on the same axis, drag it along. There we go. Now it may not be perfect and you might have to tweak it a little bit. This one's a little bit too far up. There, it's still not far in enough either. Like, just those little things. But once it's tweaked, it'll be fine. Now, we've just got 3 plain 2D objects here. So if you go up to this little cube, hold it down and let go and extrude NURBS, and then drag all of your objects into its own extrude NURBS, and then you can go ahead and rename them to make it easier on yourself. So this one is my main, this one is my right, which makes this one my left. Now if you click on them, this little third icon down here will be your thickness. You can make it 500 centimeters, and my right one the exact same. And for the main, I'm sure I made it a little bit bigger so I could go to the side and move it in so it looks like a little bit of the middle. So like that, you see it's in the middle. And by doing so, it just gave it a little bit more depth. It made it just more out there, like more 3D. So with that done, you can click on it, go into your plugins, and now you need Nitroblast for this. If you don't have Nitroblast, quickly pause the video and go install it. I don't suggest using Frowsy if you are thinking about using it, because dynamic collisions involved in Frowsy when you split and break up pieces is a little bit different than Nitroblast, and Nitroblast is the one we're wanting because the collisions just work perfectly. So go into Nitroblast, go in main, turn your quality to high. For my main section here, I'm going to drop it as 40 pieces and then fracture it. Close it down. For my right, just do the exact same for all your pieces. High, and since it's a smaller, I'm going to make it about 20 pieces. For my left as well, main, quality, high, and 20 pieces. Oh, it's 20 pieces. So there you go, you got all your pieces. So don't worry about the textures on here, you can actually just go ahead and highlight and delete those textures, and then start at the bottom. Open up your bottom one, go into main pieces, dynamics, and do the same for all of them. And that will open up all of the tags that you don't actually want. So highlight, click and highlight all of these tags, and press backspace, deletes all of them, and then you can bring them all back up. So you don't need a texture on this at the moment, so what we're going to do, if you go up to settings, tweak your settings a little bit, 1280 by 720, 30 frames per second, render all frames. I'm going to have 90 frames, so that's 3 seconds, which is a decent number. Change your save to QuickTime. You don't need alpha channel. If you're working in Sony Vegas, you won't need alpha channel. We can just change the blending mode. However, if you're wanting to do this in After Effects, you can use alpha channel and you won't need to change the blending mode. I'm going to save my project here and I'm going to call it wireframe. For anti-aliasing, turn it to best and go to effects and turn on cell renderer. Check edges and just swap your colours here. So your edge colour is going to be white and your background colour is going to be black. So now when we RAM preview this, you're going to get this nice little cool broken up wireframe effect. So if you press play, you'll see that Nitroblast's collisions break up the text or the logo and it falls down. So what we need to follow that is a camera. Now when you press the camera, this little square shouldn't be lit up and you can move around freely and it won't affect your camera and you can actually see it. But if you go and hit the white square, you're now in your camera mode and you can move your camera about. So find a nice little area in the middle of your screen, put it right to the top so you can put like your text or something at the bottom of your logo. About there should do. Click on your camera and then hit keyframe. And when you play this, play it forward and then pause it about the end and then bring your camera down until you see like most of your logo, but the top of it is about here, and hit another keyframe and then play it and you'll see that it falls down. However, the thing about the collision is it happens pretty slowly to start and then it starts to fall, so you want to animate your camera a little bit more. So find about a 30 frame range, bring it back up, and you'll see that some of your logo is still seeable, like you can make it out. So find about where you would have it originally at the top, because you can see that's the top of the A and it's positioned at the top. So if I keyframe that there, it'll follow it when it breaks and then it'll fly down. So when we go into Sony Vegas, you'll see everything. And now we can go ahead and render that out. So now the little trick here is when you're doing your settings, once you've clicked this other save button, normally you could just scroll this down and go to add to render queue and then save it there. However, if you don't want to do that and you go into your settings and you set up your save that way, you can actually just click this little button and it'll start rendering it completely. So I'm going to go ahead and render this out and I'll be right back when it's finished. Okay, I'm back and it's finished rendering. So now that it's finished rendering, I can go back in here and I'm going to add some textures to my logo. So I'm going to delete these and I'm going to add some of my own textures. Now you can add whatever texture you like, but for me I really like a rocky effect, like a stone or a black. Something just makes it really nice. So let's final pack to this game. Now if you don't have this material pack, I'm guessing you can probably find it somewhere. Just look for material packs for Cinema 4D on YouTube and there'll be a bunch, and you can use all the ones here. So I'm going to use this black one on the main, and this nice maroon-ish red onto the sides. So if you click on your tag, texture tag, change your projection to cubic and then seamless, and do that for all your tags. Cubic, seamless. So now when you run preview, oops, I forgot to turn off Decyl renderer, and I can change my save as well while I'm here, and I'll save it as intro color. I'll save it like that. Everything else can be kept the same. So if I run preview again, there's my textures. Okay, so that's that. I can now go ahead and render this out again. So I'll see you back when it's rendered. And I'm back and it's rendered. So now what we can do is I can actually, well, you can save this project file if you'd like to, but I don't need to, so I'm going to go ahead and open up Sony Vegas. Oh, nope, leave everything offline, make a new project. Come on, there you go. Okay, so when you're in your new project, just file, oh you don't need to, just hit the little folder icon and find both your files. Control and click on both of them and open. That'll bring them both in. No, you don't want to do that. Create a new video track and put your wireframe above the coloured version. Right click your clips and disable your resample. What that'll do is it'll stop the weird frame blending that goes on in your clips that you don't want, because that can be a nuisance. And if you notice down in my project window here, it says it's in 59 frames per second, however the clip's only in 30 frames per second because it's an intro. So you're effectively rendering out 2 frames for every 1 frame. So it's just adding to your render time, you don't need that. So if you go into your project settings up here, you can turn this down to 30, apply. Okay, so now we're rendering out frame for frame. Now this has got like a black background here that's, for the guys in After Effects when using Alpha Channel, you'll be able to see straight through that. But here in Sony Vegas, you can just go to your blending mode and go to screen, and you'll be able to see straight through it. Right click on your clip and hit reverse on both of them, and what you'll see is that the wireframe will stick to the colored clips, the colored pieces, and if you play it, it'll come together. Now I added in the text after, or while it was rendering, before I started rendering. If you need a tutorial on text, I can give you one, but as for now, it just flies up. It's pretty simple. It's nothing over the top. So while you've got the S2, you want to create not an audio track. You create a new video track. Bring it to the bottom and add a black solid. Now with this black solid, that's going to be your backdrop, so it's going to be the background to everything. So I'm going ahead and rename this background. You can rename the arrows if you want. Intro color, and then go to the top, wire frame, just to keep yourself organised. But it isn't going to be very many layers, so it wouldn't matter anyway. Now on your backdrop, you want to go over to your video effects, and you're going to need another plugin for Sony Vegas, and you have this for After Effects as well, and it is called Magic Bullet Looks MBL. You'll find it on YouTube if you want to download it. Pause the video and go ahead and do that. But the people that do have it, let's continue. I have made a preset from the last time I did this, and it's called background. I'm going to click over here and show you all the things. If you do want to copy them one by one, although I do recommend making your own backdrop because you might want to change the colours about. It wouldn't be too difficult to do this anyway. So yeah, there you go. Now you can just pause the video and check all those out if you want to. Simple enough. So now I've got that really nice cool backdrop sitting there, and I can trim this up if I want to. Short my timeline so I can see it a little better. There we go. So everything's clean together. So now, with that in place, I want to add my CCT's clips as well. So this, I added energy, and I will show you my energy things as well. Let me just throw these off that I don't need. And this, and this. Oh. Okay. You'll need saturation, 2 diffusions, and color curves, and that should be fine. Finished. And that's your CC added to those. Now if you go to your wireframe, you'll see it still sticks to it, and you want to add the same to your wireframe. And it will change it up like this. And you can just take off all of the bits that you don't need again. Do I need this diffusion? No, I'll take it off. I'll shoulder my saturation. Don't need that. Okay, that's fine. Now while I was editing this the first time, I was obviously doing this in Best Auto, and it looks so much better in my opinion in Best Auto compared to the wireframe lines you get in this in Best Fill. So how I fixed that, if I expand this up, was I went to my project media and I searched for quick blur, and I added it to my clips, and I put the blend amount to 100, and I did this I think 5 times per clip. So I'm going to do that real quick. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and add it to this one as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's 5. So now we're still on Best Fill, and you get a really nice, smooth, even feel to it. Now, this isn't going to be exact same to the video I showed you, obviously, because it's difficult to do the exact same thing twice. It's going to be fairly similar, and if you follow the steps, you'll be able to make your own version of it in no time. So if I didn't mean to do that. If I keep this the way that it is, turn this, I can delete this. The way it works, if you play it through, you can't see it, but it stops. It gets to about here, and your animation just stops. So if you go to your very last frame, and click on this button here for a snapshot file, and just save your snapshot file somewhere, and it'll come up here in your project media, and just drag it in, put it onto its own track, and then trim it up to how long you want it to be. For this sake, I'm going to put it 5 seconds. So then, if you scrub it through, put this to Best Auto for the now, you scrub through it, it'll come together, and it'll stay like that for a little bit. And you can even animate that if you want to go through that hassle. Keep your first keyframe, go to your last keyframe, and just scroll in, move it up, maybe even scroll in some more and tilt it a tiny bit, and then it'll go through and it'll keep moving. So that's that part done. See, it's practically there. You're just cleaning things up now. So what you want to do now is highlight it all, turn your settings back onto Best Fill, and go to render. Now while you're rendering, just browse and save it where you want to save. Desktop, save it in here. Go into your render settings. If you don't have render settings, you can find them somewhere, but make sure that when you're using your render settings, you change your render out to 30 frames per second. Keep it that way. Now, before I render this, I may as well show you sound effects. I did add sound effects to this. You probably won't be able to hear it through my recording. However, I'm sure it'll be a decent little bit extra effort to put in here. Anyway, so what I did was I brought in two sound effects that I liked. One was this one here. If I trim it up. We'll listen to it. Okay, so I'm going to split that there because there's like an impact. You can use any sound effects you want, but for Sony Vegas and this one myself, I'm using this. So let me just bring this up because it's pissing me off. Oh no, I can't. There you go. So the impact, it all starts coming together. Put it back on best full or best auto. Right to the very end of the clip. So right here, I guess, and then I can put that there. Okay, it's fine. And there's one more I added, which I think was this one. Nope. It was this one. Okay, I trim this one up also. I think. Okay. Now the thing about Sony Vegas is when you control and stretch out the end of an audio clip, it'll go all distorted like robot in like a robot fashion. So if you right click and go to the properties after you've stretched it out, it won't happen before it, but after you've stretched it out, you want to go into properties and go to lock to stretch. So numbers will change, but that's fine. Just go to OK, and that will sort your audio problem. And there you have it. That is your complete intro. You've highlighted it, and now you can just render it with the settings that I've already given you. So that was my tutorial, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Please leave a like and a comment and a favourite if you really enjoyed. If you want to see any more of these tutorials in the future, please let me know, and I'll see you guys later.